LCTV here, and it's so great to have you here, and glad you could make the voyage up all the way from Damariscotta. My friend Scotty Folsom down there running the bar.
Yeah. Schooner Landing.
Schooner Landing. He's a good man. He spent a lot of time at Sunday River, but someday he'll come up here. And are you a skier, by the way?
I used to be, not anymore.
Oh, well, no. You're not going to get out there and enjoy that.
No, I will look at it and enjoy the beauty.
Yeah. Now, recently, probably people haven't followed this. I'm going to guess no one has followed it. There's been some legislation. Maybe you could kind of flesh that out a little bit about public access.
Well, LD 1967 was an improvement from a bill we tried to get through the legislature a couple of years ago, and it passed except the governor vetoed it. She got some bad info. 1967 gives the towns, first of all, the cable companies have to pay for the right-of-way. That's the telephone wires going by the road. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. And the towns will get paid every quarter rather than once a year. The cable companies take about $10 million a year in franchise fees, and they sit on it, and they divvy it up once a year. By contract, they're supposed to do it every quarter. The second part of it is the cable companies are, by contract, bound to, there's a little thing called modular. It's a modular that gives us a signal, an HD signal rather than an SD signal. They have to honor that contract now by law. Mm-hmm. This law, because the governor, it's passed now, the governor didn't sign it, which means it's going to be enacted 90 days after the legislative session ends. Mm-hmm. So it gives the towns, and the PUC now has some mediation regulatory strength, I guess to say, mm-hmm. bargaining. The towns now have somebody to go to if they're having a problem with the cable company. And that was huge, because they had, before, that every town was every man for himself. Now the state has taken that on with no cost. The PUC said that's not going to be an added cost. This is when the Attorney General supported this law. Everybody except the Maine State Chamber of Commerce supported this bill.
Go figure.
And we don't understand why they didn't, but another story for another day.
Yeah, that sounds like a whole series.
But it's an important one. The towns are going to get a lot of funding out of it. They can get up to 5% of the franchise fees, and I encourage all the towns to look at their contracts, and if they have any problem, get in touch. And a huge thank you goes out to, I call the godfather of PEG stations, Tony Viggio. Tony worked tirelessly. He's supposed to be retired, but he did a yeoman's work testifying. We all testified at the legislature. And that trying to get a bill passed, unless you've ever been through it, is just the most mind-numbing, I guess is the only way to describe it, experience you can go through.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you did it.
Yeah?
I certainly am, as painful as it may have been.
Don't want to do it again. Been there, done that.
Yeah. Well, thank you, and thanks for sharing that with us, because I think people should know all about that.
Yeah, people need to know what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely, and some transparency here. Well, Larry, such a pleasure. Thank you and your pal for coming up and joining us here. We really appreciate it, and maybe we'll have a chance to come visit down there sometime.
Now it's on your, now you got to come see us.
All right, fair enough. I think that's great.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate you joining us. That's